Hello, everybody. It's Alexis with Create Your Future. Happy Monday and Merry Christmas. If you are celebrating it today, it is the 25th in 2023. We are at the end of another beautiful year, and I am so happy to be here. Thank you for being here for my video. Let's start the week off on a beautiful note together, and let's also really celebrate the holiday, celebrate you today, and I encourage you to focus your thoughts today on you enjoying today, no matter what is going on outside of you. Okay, like always, though, before I get started, the links for booking one-on-one coaching and hypnosis with me are in the box below, and also courses. So all my courses are there also. Okay, so you guys, I've gotten a lot of requests recently about doing a video about a third parties, what to do if you have one, and how to shift it, change it, and be in the version of you and the reality you want where that person or thing doesn't exist. Okay, so today let's focus on that. And I also want to say that a third party, in my opinion, is not necessarily a person in your reality. And the client that I'm going to be referencing for the success story, she did have a third party that was a person that her SP was dating while she was manifesting him, and they ended up getting together, and he said all of her affirmations, which is always just like so fun, right? But a third party can be multiple things. A third party can be a father-in-law that you feel like your person puts ahead of you, or a mother-in-law, or family people, cousins, friends. A third party could even theoretically be someone's job if you have created that your specific person puts the job ahead of you, right? So as I say this, I am not advising you, if you have these things going on, to be multiplying it and labeling it that you have multiple third parties. Like if there is a 3P and then the SP is really involved at work, okay? It's just to have awareness. And that's so key in manifesting, you guys, to have awareness and to slow yourself down and to be conscious about what's going on. And also, how are you labeling things? What is the meaning that you're giving things? And then always, it's the kicker. What are we telling ourselves about what we're labeling things? Okay. So like this client, when I also want to say too, that in this video, I am going to offer tips and tricks about using your mental diet, because that's always what I come back to. Changing your perspective, changing your thoughts, changing your perspective, changing your thoughts about a third party. What I am not going to tell you to do, that I have never told anyone to do, is to ignore them. Apparently, people are saying that somewhere in manifestation forums and things. This client had referenced that, where she told me about everything. She went through her whole story. And I said, yeah, okay, so let's affirm for all these things. And then let's affirm for the third party. And she said, oh my God, I'm so scared to do that, because I thought I had to ignore them and act like they weren't there and not think any thoughts of them. And I said, yeah, but is that working? She said, no. So I said, yes, you have created them with your thought. So we want to think different thoughts. So we discreate it and shift it. Okay. The other thing that I tell everyone is we do not want to get rid of, trash, dispose of, these things. Like, you guys, you don't want to look at your reality and be like, I want that to go away. I want to get rid of that. I want to trash that. I want to get rid of them. I want to make them stop. When you get this going on, when you are creating tension, you're creating more resistance, you're creating frustration, you're creating anger, and then it is blocking everything from happening. So with your language, like I told her, you want to stop saying that also about your manifesting, right? So I get it if you're frustrated. I get it if you've been doing things to create the reality you want and it's not happening, but we also don't want to trash people, get rid of people, you know, have those kinds of thoughts. It is your reality. It is your perspective. But the more that we have tension, the more that we have frustration, you're holding it in place. Okay. So we have to talk differently about it, such as I'm shifting into the reality of my choosing, right? I am choosing to be the version of me, because that's all that it comes down to is you. It actually doesn't come down to them or the SP, right? It comes down to you and what you think about you. And that is the kicker that transforms it all while doing the other things. Okay. So to come back to to come back to the backstory of this client, before she began coaching with me, there was a third party. She had been in love with her specific person for like a year, year and a half, 2 years. They had known each other though for like 7 years. Okay. And then there had been third parties along the way, like a third party here, third party there, third party there. But also she really treated what he did for a living and how much he worked like a third party, meaning that because he worked a lot and because he was very dedicated to his job, he also had kids that he had outside the relationship with her. She would tend to think and have thoughts like, oh, he's always working. He makes no time for me. He's always at his job. He never calls me. Whenever he's working, he forgets about me. Like out of sight, out of mind. Now, these are things that you also want to tackle and need to tackle about your concept of self within your relationship if there's things like that for you. Okay. So I said, okay, well, we need to reframe all of this, because all of this puts you into being the victim, to being at the effect of what he's doing. He really has all the control. He's the one that has the power. He's the one choosing. He's the one deciding. He's the one whose needs matter. I said, well, what about you? And she said, well, I've never had my needs met. I've never been in a relationship. My needs were not met in my childhood home, in my family. Like, she had already figured all this out. Okay. So I said, okay, but we are not persisting in thoughts of self, of the version of you that you like, that you want to be, that you prioritize yourself for you, that you love you, you like you, and then therefore thinking he always fits me in and makes me a priority along with everything else. Now, I hear from a lot of new clients that they're getting affirmations on Google, YouTube videos, etc., of like, I'm the number one priority. I'm his priority, right? But yes, you guys, you want to be that. But if you really think of like the highest version of you, or like the leveled up, the evolved version of you, and your specific person has, like, if they have kids or they have a full work schedule or they have things going on or they love their family, don't you like those things about them? And then don't you want to be a priority with all those things, instead of like needing them to show you and then proving to you that you're the biggest priority? Usually people are doing that because they don't feel like a priority to themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? So we had to go through all of this. And I think this is a really good success story, because she was applying a mental diet. She was doing affirmations, but they weren't really hitting home on what we wanted her to shift and change. And then this whole third party thing, she changed that. She shifted it. That person went away. She didn't really know where they went. It didn't matter, but it all happened at one time, which is pretty cute. Okay. Now, you guys, for some people, manifestation, thoughts create, it all does come through at one time, but that's not true for everyone. There is no way to know how it's going to happen for you. And she had asked me these questions too. Well, how long will it take? If I do these affirmations, what have you seen with people happen? And I really have no way to answer that, because it's across the board so different for everyone. And like, I don't know how often you're really thinking the thoughts that I tell you to think in your mind, right? I'm not there with you throughout the day. I've got you for 45 minutes because those are my sessions. And then you're really, really, really having to be in your own mind. So anyways, there's no way to determine it. Just saying. Okay. All right. Let's get to it, because this is a good one. Really juicy. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for all your help. I am so happy to tell you that after 3 months of coaching, I got a phone call from my SP. ... You will not believe what he said. He said that back to me verbatim, all of my affirmations. And he told me he is done with his girlfriend. He is totally over her. He wants to be with me and only me, and that he needs to see me. He sent me text messages saying, I need to see you. I need to see you. I need to see you. I want to see you. And I thought, wait a minute. Those are what I've been affirming. It took me a second to really think about it and think it through, because I had been affirming for this for so long that it felt normal and natural to me. But I honestly can't believe that the third party has moved on, that he's moved on, that he's choosing me, that he wants me, and that he's doing all of this for me. As you know, we have been going back and forth for about 1.5 years to 2 years, 2.5 years. But now it seems like it's all happening really quickly. I can't thank you enough. It really helped me to figure out with you what I actually had to work on for my self-concept. And therefore, from there, change the story of my specific person, and also to affirm that he was done with the other person, because he had told me he was done, but he could just never make the decision actually in my reality. I realize now that all these things that I had been trying to ignore were actually things that I could focus on and that everyone should focus on, because if we create it, we can discreate it, we can move through it, we can create a new, and it's all possible. Thank you so much. XOXO, and have an amazing holiday with Logan and your family, and I will see you soon. Okay. Yeah, you guys. So like, isn't this interesting? Because I've heard this all before, and I really think that's fascinating, because for years with people, I had always said, if there's a third party, we need to affirm that they move on. This is what I had. If you're wondering what the affirmations that she used were, he is done with her. He only wants to be with me. They are moving on. They are moving into a new relationship. This is all happening for me. I'm in the relationship of my dreams with my specific person, with, you know, his name. Okay. Now, it's like if you're ignoring things and being like, it's not happening, the only way that that will work is if you're so focused on your self-concept and you're changing you and you have the confident, high-level self-esteem, and then the person chooses you. That's the only other way. But like most people, when they're coming to a specific person manifesting, it's the concept of self that we also have to work on. Like, pretend, you guys, if you were in the most confident, self-valuing, self-respecting, self-loving version of you, and you liked someone and they were with someone that they told you that they didn't really like, wouldn't you kind of naturally think, oh, they're not working out. Like, this is not meant to be. It's a last-ditch effort. It's obviously not going to work, okay? So it's usually that we ourselves are in a low state of our self-concept, and therefore we think things negatively about other people, or we associate negative meaning just because. Now, the self-concept work is ongoing, right? If you're someone who's watching this and you've said to me or said to other people, said to yourself, like, my self-concept's great. Like, I love myself. I like myself. I think I'm so amazing. I just don't understand why he doesn't want to be with me. Right? I don't understand why I wasn't chosen. I don't understand why I wasn't good enough. All these things that I hear. I want to say that no matter how much we like ourselves and love ourselves and accept ourselves, there is always a new concept of self to move through, to accept a higher version of you. Like, it's not like you get your self-concept work solidified and then like everything falls into place forever. No. It is ongoing. It is a process of watering a flower. It's a process of growing maturation of, like, the seed grows into a flower, grows into a flower bush, because flowers don't go into trees. But you get what I'm saying, you guys? So like, if this is you and your specific person and you've identified these things, like, just be honest with yourself and be like, okay, these are things to change. These are things to work on. These are things to just think differently about, you guys, because the crazy thing, your thoughts create. Now, like I've said in previous videos, and I'm going to say it again at the end of the year and on the holiday, when I'm saying your thoughts create, I am not talking about scripting and what you're writing down. I am not talking about the inner conversation you're having with your specific person. And I am not talking about an audio recording. I think I did a rampage about that in my last video and everyone thought it was funny, but like, watch that video if you want to hear it. I'm not going to do it again. I am talking about what are the thoughts that you are thinking in the frontal lobe that you hear yourself think, that's your conscious thinking. And who are you identifying that you are being? Now, like I've said before, most people on the planet, until they shift these things, change these things, and think differently, do not think that they're enough. We are not taught to think that we're enough. We're not taught to think that we're whole and complete and stable and secure within. We're actually very misled that it's the opposite out there, right? Like, buy this face cream, buy these jeans, get this like workout, and you're going to then feel 100% magnetic. Okay. None of that's true. The only thing that we're actually doing when we buy and purchase something or engage in an activity is it's changing our thoughts about us. And we're like, okay, yeah, now we're going to have it. Guess what? That thing doesn't bring it and you look for it again. The answer is that you, my loves, have it all within you. Now, I know you've heard this before, most likely, like all the answers exist within, but like from an energetic perspective, the whole consciousness outside of you exists within you. And you came here to relearn this, okay? So from that perspective, like, why are we thinking that the specific person, anything that they're doing means something negative about us? That is something to relearn and refocus. Like I had this client do, and I said, okay, so he has kids, he has his job. Why does that mean you're not a priority? Right? And why are you trying to prove to yourself that he's proving to you that you're a priority? If like, what do we want him to do? Quit his job, no longer be a father, and like stick to you like glue all the time and be like, hey babe, what are we doing right now? And does that prove to you that you're loved and liked? Now, if that's how you are approaching your conscious manifesting, we really have to shift out of that, because that's going to have you do this. Because most likely, you guys, and I know you all think you're out there recreating and changing people, but like, I'll bet if you really ask yourself, there's a bunch of things about your specific person that you actually do like, right? Or else why would you choose them? Why would you be drawn to them? Why would you be doing this changing thoughts, recreating, manifesting the whole thing, right? So like, yeah, like embrace these things about them, love the things about them instead of trying to force it into this whole priority thing. This is what I had told her. Okay. I said, instead, we need to be thinking that he's done with the relationship with the other person. It's over. And this is how I want your mental diet to be. He's choosing me. He wants me. He loves me. I'm the only one that he loves. I am so loved. I am the one that is irrevocably in love, just chosen. I feel so fulfilled in love. I feel so amazing and loved. I am loved. I am adored. I am loved. I am adored. I feel so amazing. I feel so amazing. I feel so amazing. Right? I said, yeah, I want you to go on to a thought rampage. Think about it. Think, even say it out loud if that's better. Once an hour, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Make it into your own beautiful story. But we want the story to be the basis of I am fulfilled. I am chosen in love. I am loved and adored. I am irrevocably fulfilled in my relationship. He only wants to be with me once and for all. He's done with everybody else. Okay. And trying to remember because I don't have the notes written down. He wants me and only me. He only sees a future with me. That was the one I was forgetting. Okay. So she did all of this. And then guess what happened? Like he called and said all of her affirmations, and it did happen all at one time. And then they saw each other. They went out on 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates. They're moving forwards, only them in the relationship. The third party, it is dissolved. Like she's no longer there. She's no longer a thing. And she got really what she wanted. Okay. So if you are dealing with a third party that is a person, you have, in my opinion, okay, we need to affirm for a different experience, right? Like those people, they're over, him and that person, they're over, or her and her with him, they're over, they're separate. It's no longer happening. It's all coming together. Now, as I say that though, if you're affirming that and you start to feel guilty or shameful or like you're doing something wrong, we don't want to think that either, right? Again, excuse me, you guys. If we are operating out of the confident, self-loving, self-valuing version, and this person like her had said to her, like, oh, I'm not really into them, then you would just naturally think like, oh, they're not going to work out. They're not into each other. You wouldn't feel a bunch of guilt and you wouldn't feel a bunch of shame. If you are feeling guilt and you are feeling shame or regretful about like what you're affirming, we need to think, no, I'm releasing the guilt. I'm releasing the shame. I'm doing this correctly. I am so on top of my thoughts that I am manifesting exactly what I want. I'm allowed to do this. I'm the creator of my reality. This is my relationship. This is my reality, and I'm creating this correctly. If you want to rewind, I just said a bunch of mental diet affirmations right there. But you guys, this is the thing. It really just comes down to what you're thinking. I know that at this point, it's like, yeah, Alexis, hello. I've watched all your videos. I know that, but like challenge yourself today and this week. What are you really thinking, right? Now, if you're like one of my beloved clients who's having a difficult time this year, moving into the holidays, moving into the new year, and then, you know, in the United States, at least we have Valentine's Day. You know, I think most countries have something like Valentine's Day, right? And then if you have like a birthday or two, excuse me, you guys, I have been under the weather, then, and you're having an issue in love and relationships and then the family, all this stuff, really, really challenge yourself to change the story, first of all, about you right now, right here this year. Not doing a bunch of SP manifesting, a bunch of SP affirmations, and then third-party affirmations. No, it comes down to you and where your focus is and what you're deciding, how you're labeling what's going on for you. So if you are going through a difficult time, Let's turn it into an easier time where you're getting through the holidays and thinking, this is all coming together. I am living out the rest of the year, starting a new year anew. My manifestations are all coming through in 2024. Everything is happening for me in 2024. I'm finally implementing, seeing results. My major manifestations are coming through in the new year. Okay, so let's remain hopeful and let's remain in trust and faith together as we go through the holidays, as we go through the end of the year and the new year. Okay, and like I had said in previous videos, before I was married, there were a number of years where I was working on myself and also working with clients, changing how I felt about myself. And I was single and I would have to do this myself because the holidays for us represent so much. They do for most people around the world. And you can often compare yourself. Now we have social media. You can compare yourselves to other people, but know that like, if you really picked apart all the people out there, most people are working through or resolving things within themselves about themselves. You know, that's something that is part of the human existence. Like, you know, we're usually changing and evolving and growing and experiencing and, you know, having this happen this year and that happened that year. So just try to not compare yourself to other people and where they're at on the journey. Okay. But you guys, it all comes down to you. It comes down to what meaning are you giving things? What thoughts are you giving things? So just for now, if you're tackling all this, think different thoughts about you. Change your concept of you within you, and then everything else will be easier. You got to do that along with everything else. So, though, to sum up the video, right, for third-party people, third party, got to focus different thoughts about the third party, give it new meaning, give it new thoughts in order for it to change. You created it. Therefore, you are the only one who can discreate it. Think differently and it will show up differently. It's that simple, you guys. Okay, so let's go out there today and focus on having a great holiday, having a great Christmas, enjoying the day, no matter where you are. And even if you're not with people, you're not celebrating Christmas, just make it a good day because it is only one day, right? And we are in these human bodies for an amount of time that we don't really know exactly how long, right? So like, enjoy today, enjoy this holiday. Remember that it's all available to you. Your creations, your manifestations, everything is still possible, okay? I intend you guys enjoy this video and that, look at, I have my reindeer back there for everyone. See it? Okay, so let's move into the new year with some smiles, laughs, and putting some humor into the whole reality creation thing and why we came here. All right. I love you guys. I'm wishing you all the best and I will see you in my next video. Bye.